Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to the OK Show. My name is Iceman.
What up? What up? That's one of the cons of being an adult. You forget to do stuff like turn on your mic. That's right. Not a dead mic, dead host. The mic
All
is
right.
not the fault. Let
Well,
and
I mean, to
another
be
con.
fair, it's not like we're in the radio where you just press a
It's
button
like a
and then
dead
the
air.
mic's on, right? So, I
You're right.
mean,
You're
we
right. You're
have
right.
to make connections and we're not even sure if the connection is actually, live or if it's the right connection, if it's the right hole that we plug in like the USB mic in. So, yeah, I
That's
mean,
right.
it's,
That's
it's not
right.
as simple as it looks.
That's right. That's right. And we're getting rusty, man. Basically that's it. We're getting rusty. So anyway, welcome to the show. Shout out to CJ and to whoever else deciding to join us tonight. We're talking about the pros and cons of being an adult. I think CJ is a target audience for tonight in terms of somebody who might
Right.
get a head start on his friends because he's at the cusp of adulthood. I don't even know if he's at the cusp of it. He's probably far from it. He's 15, and we're adults, and we're
Right.
still kind of like
Right.
we're adults, right? We're still
He's
not
getting
sure.
there. Well,
He and he's
in
getting
in
there.
in so many ways we are.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
this
That's
guy
right.
who's close to being an adult, I mean, we have said a few words already, and the only thing that registered were right and whole. Right whole. Right.
Oh, 16. CJ, you're 16 already? Oh my god. Man. Oh, no. See, that's how we see that's one of the few ways we have to kind of face reality and get in touch with the fact that we are really getting older. When we see the children grow before our very eyes, especially like our inanaks or kids of our friends or those we haven't relatives or nephews or whatever that we haven't seen in a while, and then we see them again, and they're taller than us. They have more muscles than we do. They are more wittier than we are, better looking than we are. And then we start going, "What the heck? Last time I saw this kid, he literally was a toddler." And he would fall for everything I would say. And now you tell the kids something, you tell them something, and they're not kids anymore. They don't fall for your crap, right? And
Or you see somebody like, last time I saw this asshole, he was a boy. Now he's an
yeah, that's
asshole.
right. Yeah, now he's a full size, full grown a
Right.
hole.
Last time I saw this bitch, she was like really small. Now she's a bitch. I'm like,
Now I'm dating her.
that's creepy,
I
but
mean,
yeah, right.
no, it's not creepy, man. It's not. See, they're adults. See, that's the thing. That's part of being an adult. Once you hit,
That's true though.
once you hit the point of being an adult, you're an adult. You fall in the same category as somebody who is 21 or somebody who is 91.
True.
You're all under
That's
the
why you
same
cannot fault you
category, right?
Hefner for being 70 and still dating a 20-year-old or
Yeah,
a 20-year-old. Yeah.
absolutely, yeah. I mean, somebody of his stature, somebody of his fame, somebody with the exposure to beautiful young women that he was back when he was running Playboy and he was still alive. But tonight it's an interesting topic. It's kind of like a carryover from the previous topic from our last
Right.
episode, but
That's
this
what I
is
was
this is
thinking.
more interesting. Yeah, I think this is more interesting for me because this is more our alley. And for the young ones out there, don't be turned off because you guys are gonna learn from us. You're gonna not learn the right things to do, probably learn the things you should not do. Because if you're an adult and you're not learning and you're just getting older, you know, you're just getting old. You're not turning mature. And I think that's important. We have to also determine the difference between maturity and being an adult. And sometimes they don't really go hand in hand. Case in point, us. All right. So shout out to CJ. And if you're out there, let us know. And if you have a feedback, let us know. We will read your comments. We try to read every comment. We usually do. It's not that very many, but we are encouraging people to participate because we want to know, is being an adult all that it's cracked up to be? Because when we were kids, That's kind of like what we wanted to be. You know, you look at old people, they get to decide, they run the show, you know, they get to decide where you know, you go, what you eat, what you wear, and you feel like you're helpless as a kid and you have all this energy like what Iceman said last episode, and yet you have no control over a lot of things in your life. When you become an adult, you think you have control over your life, and then you realize that you don't. Sometimes you don't want that control because there is a consequence and there's a certain responsibility that comes with it, right?
Yes, definitely.
All right,
That'd be
so
some
let's get the ball rolling. Are
that'd
we
be
gonna get
some
the ball
stuff
rolling?
to like share the 'cause I forgot to share this on the other
Pros and
pages. Hang
cons
on.
of being an adult.
There you go.
Okay,
Right,
Christian.
done. Okay.
Yeah. So
I
be paying
mean, Uncle Ice
attention.
wanted to be an adult, mainly to go to R18 movies. That's an amazing reason. Yeah, well, yeah. When you're a kid, what would you think about? I mean, at
That's
least
true.
for me, when I was a kid, it was one of those things that you can't do as a kid, and you really wanted to do it, like watch R18 movies. I mean, I'm being honest about this, right?
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
so thrilled to go into R18 movies, the movies that I really wanted to watch when I was a kid. Basic Instinct, right? Basic Instinct, Sliver. These are R18
Hmm.
movies. You can't see these
Yeah.
movies if
Yeah.
you're not 18,
That's
right?
right.
They would stop you and they would ask for a cedula. It's not that I would go in a bomba theater or something, like a porn theater. I don't think. Um, have you ever been to one? Because
Yeah, I
I'm
have.
not sure if they're like really like which one?
I've been to like two.
Like
I think
really
I've been
like
to Ace, and there's one called Life back in the day when I was in
yeah.
elementary in
There's
Capitan
Life and Ace.
Tomas.
I know
Yeah,
I
we
know
didn't
these
really go
theaters.
in. We peeked in because on the side of the because there's a shortcut from Capitan
All right, so
Tomas to like
you never went in
Claveria.
and watched the movie,
No, we didn't
right?
really
You've
sit
never
there.
been
But
inside.
I think I've been inside Ace. I don't know if Ace is considered as like a porn theater. I think it was a regular theater, and then they started showing like adult stuff. I don't even know where I was in there, where I was with, but I really was kind of avoiding trying to get in there. You wanted to, but you hear horror stories of like guys jerking off, and like the chairs are all like smelly, and it's
Horror
really a
stories.
nasty,
For all I
you
know, when you
know.
get in there, you start jerking off too. Like, whoa.
No, man. You know what? Like, I didn't even know. Like, I know in the U.S. there were guys who were caught by like undercover policemen in theaters that show adult movies, and they get caught for jerking off and stuff. But I don't know. Like, I here, like, I can't imagine somebody would actually. But maybe those guys were homeless. Maybe those guys who are like tambais. Maybe those guys who don't have a reputation or don't really care. But like, if you're a student from Ateneo and you go in there and you jerk off, you
Dude,
don't know when they'll
there
turn
were
the
people
lights
who
off.
jerked off in normal theaters. Like I've heard stories from my
Well,
girlfriends, not girlfriend, but girlfriends. Like they've had creeps, sitting like not really beside them, but within
Yeah, I
their
think I know what
within
yeah,
their
yeah,
row,
yeah, yeah. You have a
right?
point. I think
They're in the
I know what you're
same row,
talking
and the
about.
guys
The
jerking off,
maniakis, the
and
pervs, the pervs.
right,
Yeah,
yeah, right. So
the
there are
pervs.
guys like that. So
And
I
I've
mean,
also
what do you
heard stories
expect if
of
you go to
guys.
Ace Theater?
I've also heard stories of guys who got jerked off in movie theaters. They didn't do it themselves. Somebody did it for them.
Somebody jerked them off. Wow.
Not necessarily a girl, too. Not necessarily a woman.
Right, yeah, yeah. I would say. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. So I was being honest about it. But the thing is, I didn't really know if they were showing porn in there. Like,
Yeah,
was Ace Theater actually showing porn inside?
like Pinoy,
Because they were
Pinoy
like all
stuff.
Filipino, like Pinoy porns, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
they
Like
were actually porn. You can see the penetration and whatnot.
That's the thing with Pinoy adult movies. They have different categories. There's ST. There's like just like a teaser where it's like the wet shirt, and and there's also like the full on kind of like
So what was it?
um
Just like the wet shirt and just like topless and
no
that's it?
they like full frontal, and the guy's like on top, but they're not necessarily like the you can see the guy's butt and the woman, like not that kind of full on
It's
penetration
not.
thing.
It's not even like. Well, then oh,
Yeah, yeah.
I was
It's
wrong to
just like
be. I was wrong to be. Like wanting to be an adult at that point in my life. I was like, oh, I wanted to go to RAT. I wanted to go in, but I never did because I think they were still around when I was already 18. But I never did
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah. They
I mean,
were,
what's
they
the
were,
point?
they
There
were
were like
around.
VCDs already. There were VCDs. There were
There
VHS.
were a
But
lot
no,
of
it was
theaters.
already VCDs.
There were VCDs. Yeah, there were
Yeah, right.
VCDs,
So there were
and
a lot of VCDs. So I was like, I didn't see the point of
that's true.
actually going
That's true.
into
Because
a
you're younger.
R18. theater.
You're
Yes.
you're a few years young. You're several years younger than I am. So I came from a generation where the VCDs came when I was already like mid college or later college life. So and obviously you still have to buy a VCD player. And back then it wasn't as talamak as like you can go to go to Victoria Plaza or you could go to like Uyangurin and they have like 3 for 100. It wasn't like that. You literally have and the VCDs that we could get back then they weren't really the full on bomba yet. Usually it's like Viva Hot Babes, or usually it's like, they're not
Right.
like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? It's not like 10 porn movies in one collection and you can just buy it down the street from somebody. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like that yet. It was a new technology. So it was fairly expensive. And I actually remember getting a membership from, I think it was Video City at the back of Victoria Plaza. I'm not sure if it was Video
Right.
City or something like that. And I think it was owned by Viva or something. And they always had the Viva Hot Babes. And those were the only ones. And I was already in college. I already had a girlfriend. It wasn't like I was a high school kid who was curious. I was already, but you have this excitement of like finally being able to like borrow this VCD and bring it home and whack off to Maui Taylor, whoever the heck it was that you fancied in the group. Mine was Jennifer Lee, I think. When she was trying on the swimsuit, I think, right? You
Right.
remember that
Right.
scene? I know what your favorite
Mhm.
was. The girl in the back of the pickup, right?
Yeah. 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 Her and Gwen Garcy. Her and
What's that
Gwen
girl's
Garcy.
name?
What's her name?
What was that?
Hang on. Hang
Oh
on. Hang on.
God, yeah, you just mentioned that last time. You mentioned her last time.
Oh crap! I
So okay,
forgot now.
so we're talking about the pros of being
Yeah,
an
that
adult,
girl. That
right?
girl.
For guys. So Ice is trying to remember Hazel. Was it Hazel? Hazel Cabrera.
Ah, Hazel Cabrera. Hazel
Hazel
Cabrera. Yeah.
Cabrera. Yeah. Hazel
Right.
Cabrera.
Right. Right.
I
Hazel
remember you
Cabrera.
mentioning the name. So I'm not that
Whatever
old, but
happened to her? Whatever happened to her? Is she still around?
probably some rich politician guy from Cebu,
Right?
whatever.
Holy
You
shit.
know, Yeah,
Yeah.
that's usually the ticket. When you see like these sexy starlets disappear, usually like they get involved with like some rich dude or whatever, and then
Right.
like
With
all of a sudden,
guns, goons, and gold.
yeah, and all of a sudden they're like they forget their past, and then
Right.
you see them like at a function and they're all like wearing jewelry and they're all rich with bodyguards and stuff, and you're looking at them, you're like, you
All
know,
right.
sino niloko mo?
I have your VCD.
Kita
Actually, when I
tinae.
get home tonight, I am going to jerk off
Kita
to that
tinae.
particular scene.
Kita ng samad. All right. Anyways, okay. So CJ, you better listen to the show with headphones on because we're talking about adults here. Back in the day, I know Iceman can relate. Jepoy can relate. Shout out to my friend Jepoy. Back in the day, whenever we see the word adult, immediately it was like sexual, right? Right?
Right.
Like
Right.
if it's
Right.
like for adults only,
For
it could be
adults
like a
only.
violent. Yeah, it could be just a violent film, or it could be about drugs, or it could be about like
Mhm.
themes that kids can't relate to. But for some
Right.
reason,
Right.
if it's for adults only, we
It's
knew there was
sexual.
like some naked stuff going on there.
Right.
So, and now it's different. Now it's like if you watch a movie or a documentary and it will say adult themes or whatever, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's like
Right.
nudity there.
They know
It
how to
could
phrase it.
be yeah,
Now
yeah.
these days, I mean, not like before. It's like for adults only. Like, what does that
And
mean?
you're like, yeah, for
They
adults
know how to
only.
phrase it now, and they put
For a
some
kid, for
explanation in
adults
it.
only, literally says, "Watch me." Find
I know, right?
any
Right?
way you can to watch me. Like literally, we see that. It's like, we gotta watch this for adults only. We're freaking out. I mean, I have friends who had like jerk off fest in their houses back in the day. Would tell stories about like the Bakaka boys. Whenever we're drinking, they would tell stories because I didn't go to high school here. So they would talk about stories where in high school they would go to a friend's house when the parents are not around, and they would all watch an adult movie in the Betamax or a VHS of a friend, and they all have like a jerk off fest. And this would happen like after school or maybe like during lunch or something. And I'm like, really? Like, because in the States everybody had a VHS player, but in the Philippines, I think everybody had the VHS player here too. But they time it to to go to a classmate's house where the parents
True.
or there's nobody around. And it's hard to
Right.
find that in the Philippines. There's always somebody around. My lola, my katulong. There's always somebody in the house. So it's hard to have that jerk off fest with your friends. Did you ever have that? You had that with your brothers, obviously, right? Because the wifey would tell me stories of her
Yeah, but
brothers.
I think I also went to a friend's house, if I can remember correctly, and I was there with a few friends. No, not really classmates. Then my brother was there too, and we started watching it. And I don't. I think we jerk off. Did we have a jerk?
Jerk
Did we
off
have a
fest.
jerk off
Jerk off
fest?
mania.
I'm not. Hang on. Like I think
Why?
we were, but it wasn't like okay. With Master Yoda's experience, he was telling me, and from how I pictured it, they were actually just like they were just exposing themselves to each other, right? And they were just like jerking off in front of the freaking TV. But what happened with me and some of the classmates that were there and my brother is like we try to find a spot where you get covered a little bit
Yeah,
and you can
yeah,
like
yeah,
have
with the throw
your
pillow or something. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
you have
pillow
like a
or something.
tissue. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
you
yeah,
find a spot, then I think we did jerk off, but I mean it
yeah.
wasn't like it
See,
was,
guys
we
do
were
that.
totally exposed.
I don't know
But
if kids do
Master
that,
Yoda
man.
was well, okay, he was a wild kid with wild friends.
Exhibitionist. It was
Yeah, they
exhibitionist.
were just exposing themselves to each other. They were just like jerking off like shit.
That wasn't a
Oh
jerk
my
off. That was an
god.
orgy, man. But minus the women. Minus the women. But here's the thing. See, we're talking about that right now. And see, that's one of the I guess that's one of the pros of being an adult is that you can do that stuff and not have to wait for people to leave the house or nobody's knocking on the door or like most cases you either live alone or you have your own room or you just have people treat you with a certain respect to the point where they respect your privacy. When you're young, you have no privacy. It's like the parents will always check under your bed. They always have the right to worry about you. They always, and I think once you're an adult, I mean, it's not always the case being in the Philippines. People still live with their parents. People still depend on the elders, whatever, to support them financially. So you're not really 100% independent yet, but we're talking about being an adult where you are independent. You can buy your own things, you can live under your own terms. And like things like that. Like you can bring a woman to your house and no one will question that. You don't have to sneak in or you can like you can jerk off to any movie you want to jerk off to or you can whatever. You can have Playboy or whatever magazines lying around and it doesn't matter. You can order sex toys like what CJ said, which that's a convenience that we didn't have back then. Now you can order stuff online and they'll have it delivered to you in plain wrapping and no one would know. I mean, I've ordered some stuff and the wifey doesn't know about it, but it's in my bathroom. She never goes inside my bathroom. But it just, these are adult things that you can do when you're an adult with full confidence, where you have no fear. When you're a teenager, you're still, nervous, especially if your mom is conservative or your dad, you know, is kind of, I don't know. Dads are usually cool about it. CJ says, nah, still can't. The walls have eyes. Yeah, my advice to you, CJ, is always do not leave a trace. All right, clean up after your mess. That's just how it is. Like think like a detective. Do not don't ever make sure the door's locked. Make sure you don't leave tissues lying around. Make sure you just clean up after yourself. If you're gonna make a mess, clean up after yourself.
Right,
Um,
right.
you know.
Okay, well, why are we talking about this? I mean,
Okay.
like there are
Yeah,
so
we're
many
done with
things.
that. So that's one
Right.
thing that what's one of the pros of being an adult. You can watch adult films,
Yeah.
you can
CJ
watch stuff
started
that as a kid
with
you couldn't.
what I said, like back then when the only reason why I wanted to be an adult was to get the cedula and go to these things. But like when I became one, I never went. Okay, I could watch those violent and films with a little bit of nudity, but that was it. All right. So when
Yeah.
I was a kid,
Yeah.
when you're a kid, you think about a lot of stupid stuff, right? You think about a lot of stupid things, and mostly when you become an adult, you realize that all right, that was stupid, right? And so that's what happened. So when I became an
Yeah.
adult, I finally got my cedula. I never went in a theater that was like for like for adults. I mean like a porn theater. I don't know what you call them, like adult theaters. I never went
Yeah. Yeah.
inside one, so I never
Yeah.
really knew what goes on in in those places because I've never been to one. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I could watch films that are um, too violent for kids, and probably
Yeah.
films with a little bit of nudity. But I mean, not even I mean, it's not even that wild. It's
Were
not
they
even that
strict with
sexual.
violent films back then, Ice? Because I mean, I remember going to Capitan Tomas and I was still in elementary school. I must have been like 10 back then or 11. I
No,
don't know how
back in
old I
the
was,
'80s,
but
probably not.
right?
But there came a point in the '90s that they
Because I
were
saw
they were strict
Rambo when
about
I
it.
was a kid, right? I saw
Right?
First Blood.
Yeah.
I was a kid.
Yeah, I
That
think
was
in the '80s it
violent.
wasn't. Well, even in the '90s, they would have those things, those signs put up, but I don't think they enforce it
I mean,
strictly.
come to think of it,
Because
like 90%
I
of
mean,
Pinoy
I
movies
watched.
back then was
Okay,
violent.
What was the rating of Speed? Was Speed like an R-18 movie? Because that was violent film.
Dude, I was old when Speed came out. I didn't even care. It could have been like X-rated. They would have allowed me to come in. I was old when that came out.
that's
I was
that's how
old
you're
already when
old.
Speed came.
You're
It would have
old.
been triple A. I'm old. Like when
I
Speed came
think
out, I
Speed
think
was like
what year was Speed?
I was 15 or
Early
16. So
90s? Was it early
yeah,
90s?
I think it was like in the early 90s, 93, I think, 94,
Okay.
93,
If
94.
I was in the
So I was
Philippines
like
already when
about
that came
15 or
out,
16.
I was already 19. I was 19. That's old. Like that's old already, you know? I mean, I don't know. Like, what's okay? Rated R is 18, right? Can you watch
Yeah,
X-rated
rated R
movies when
is
you're
18.
18?
Yeah,
If
because
you're 18, you
yeah,
can
because
also
you're an
watch
adult.
X-rated.
Yeah,
Okay,
you're
so
an
18
adult.
is adult here.
Right.
You can drink, you can smoke, you can do all that. Gamble. Is that what
Yes.
you can
Go
go
to
to like
prison
hot
too.
legs? You can
Yeah,
go to
you can
hot
go to prison
legs.
as well. Yeah, you can go to Hot Legs and you can go to prison.
because
So yeah,
no, because
pros and
no, because
cons.
like
You're an adult.
because
You can do a lot of
in
things,
the
but
state
then if you do something really stupid, you can go to jail or you can go
in
to
the
prison.
states they have like different age limitations for certain things. Like for example, drinking is 21. Like depends on the state, but drinking is 21. But 18, you can like buy Playboy. So there's stuff that you can do at 18, but you still can't do until
Yeah,
you're
you can even
21,
vote at
like buying
18, but
liquor.
then you can't drink.
Like
You
buy
can't
yeah,
go to the
yeah.
clubs.
No, you can't buy liquor. In Germany, Germany's weird because Germany, like everybody's like drinking there, but you can't go to the arcades until you're 18 or above. It's like like you can buy cigarettes when you're 18, but you can't go to the arcades unless you're 18. Like for example, if you're 15 years old or 14 and you wanted to play video games at an arcade, you can't play. Like you can't go and play Double Dragon or Golden Axe or
Even if you're accompanied by an
Tekken.
adult. If you're a kid and your
Here's what I
dad is not
yeah,
allowed.
because here's what I noticed in Germany. They don't really have arcades like as like an amusement center for kids. The arcades are usually in a bar. That's where the pinball machine is. That's where the arcade. It's usually inside a bar. So I think they discourage the teenagers going inside a bar. That's why you have to be 18 to be able to play those games because it's not usually arcade games are not found in like an amusement park or like an amusement center. They're usually found inside a bar. They get those arcade machines are usually found inside a bar. So I found that so weird. I was like, I see kids smoking everywhere and yet they can't play a video game. Like, what's going on? But that was in Germany. This was in 1995. So I don't know if the laws have changed, but this was in 1995 when they visited. But here in the Philippines, I mean, I know now that there are laws against serving liquor to minors, but there was a time in the Philippines where you could be 10 years old, 5 years old, and you could buy tanduay lapad because your dad or uncle told you to do it.
Right.
And
Yeah.
nobody questioned that, right?
Yeah.
Palit ako Hope dito, palit ako Winston. And the kid would go there and actually like light the cigarette for the dad, right? Because baka walang
Yeah.
lighter or
Right.
posporo, so the
Right.
kid would
Right.
light the
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
cigarette. And like on his walk home, he would be That's crazy, man. I mean, that's and now we're scaring people that smoking can cause cancer. Well, kids didn't know that back then, The
Yeah, but I
parents
mean,
allowed it to.
what's lighting up one cigarette than compared to
That's
being
when
a chain
it
smoker?
starts. That's
All right.
you
Okay. You
probably
have a
ask
point.
most of
But
the chain smokers now who are dying of emphysema and lung
how,
cancer. They're probably like,
how
"How
did
did it
how did you
start?"
start?
My dad told me to
How
light
did
up.
you start smoking?
My dad
I
told me to.
was I was sent to the store one time, and my dad asked me to light up a cigarette for him, and that's when it started. I became a chain smoker, and now I'm dying of cancer. Anyway, okay, Patrick. Adults can watch more mature films in the cinema. I remember a few years ago when 50 Shades of Grey were being shown. Teenagers were trying to buy tickets, and the cashier asked them for IDs. I know that's what I'm saying. I mean, 50 Shades of Grey isn't even that wild. I mean, it's not porn. I mean, there's some new. I don't think there a frontal nudity in that movie.
Which
Was it
movie?
like as wild as Liver?
50
Fifty
Shades
Shades
of
of
Grey.
Grey. Yeah.
I haven't seen 50 Shades of Grey. I haven't like my
See,
wifey
I'm
has
not even
seen it like
interested
maybe
in it. It's
50
probably
times.
not that wild because I'm not
Has
even
your wifey
interested.
seen it? Has your wifey seen
I
it?
have no idea. I don't know. Like, you know what? If women wants to see it, then it's probably not that wild. It's not as sexual as
Yeah. And, and,
as
and
people would
you know why we don't want to watch
have
it?
us believe
I
that it is.
and it could just be me, but I know Ice and we're kind of why we don't want to watch it? It's not because like, oh the guy it's because it involves a guy who's filthy rich. So of course we all were us guys being like, not, I would say jealous, but we're kind of like, we always have something against like guys who are rich who get women, because obviously when you're rich and you're good looking, whatever, and you get women, hardly any effort is needed, right? So we kind of like immediately we assume that, oh, do the women like that movie because he's like good in bed, or he's like a great lover, or is it because he's flaunting his Audi R8 and he owns a company and he's super rich, but he has like psychological issues from childhood? Because you think about it, most movies where the man is like idolized by the women, or lusted after by the women, the guy is usually empowered. I mean, even Twilight, Edward Cullen is a freaking vampire, dude. Like he's beautiful in the book. It says so. Like he shimmers and shines. And so, I mean, have a regular guy there. I mean, how many women would want to watch that, right? It's always, it's not like
Okay, here's
it's
the
not like
okay.
us, right? Right?
I think
I think a lot of
this
it, right?
this is what women will tell you. They already have ordinary guys with them. Why would they go to a movie, pay like how much, whatever it is
Okay,
that cinemas charge nowadays, and watch a freaking normal guy and fantasize a freaking ordinary guy? I mean, that's just
okay. Let
pointless.
Okay, let's reverse things then. Let's. Do you watch movies of a woman because she's empowered? Do you watch a movie of a woman because she's a beauty queen? Not necessarily. She could be like this. She could be just la bandera from whatever, and as long as
Really?
she's hot, that's all that matters,
See,
right?
there you go,
I mean,
hotness,
exactly. But I mean, like, exactly. But what I'm saying is,
right?
the guy always has
I mean,
this character
would you
where.
watch somebody? So, okay, you said a labandero who's hot. Would you watch a labandero who's like so many bills and like, I mean, would you watch that film if
No, no,
the
no.
lead
I'm not
star was like,
talking. I'm not talking about their physical appearance. I'm talking about their character. I'm talking about like this guy is a billionaire runs a company. I'm talking about this guy is a vampire. I mean, that's what I'm
I
talking
know,
about. There's this,
but
but women have this.
that's what
You know what I'm
attracts
saying?
women. That's what attracts me.
Ex-
Like we are attracted by how women look, right? That's what like
Yes,
all right, she's hot.
100%. That's it.
She's got these big boobies, whatever. Like, oh, she's got big butts, whatever. Like, whatever kind of person you are. There are people who are like
Yeah,
like some guys
yeah,
are like
yeah, yeah,
butt person, like a butt person or a boob person. Like, but I mean,
yeah.
that's what it is. Like, that's what attracts us. But the thing is, with women, it's different. That's why when everybody that I know, like,
That's why we haven't seen those movies.
yeah, because all the women that I've talked to are like, I want to watch it, and I think they're lusting over like whoever this guy is, like Christian Grey. I have no
Yeah,
idea what the story is or whatever, but
yeah. He's
because a lot of women wanted to see it, so that means that's not for me. Because a lot of women wants to watch it, so that means that's because I'm a guy, and I'm like, there's always a difference of perspective when it comes to like being a male and a female. All right. So I'm not
yeah,
being sexist
yeah,
here or anything, but there's, I mean, that's why we say women are from Venus and men are from Mars because
yeah,
there's just
yeah,
there's just a huge difference in terms of perspective. So when
yeah,
everybody that I know who's a woman was like dying to see the movie, so I was just like, oh, this is
yeah.
not for me. This is not for me. So I have not watched it. I have no idea what went, what happened in the film. But whoever like CJ, just a question: have you watched it? Because I don't really know what's in there. Was there like frontal nudity?
It's
Was it
it's
just
it's
like all
based on a
talk or what?
series of books, and it's about this guy who has this issues about childhood. I think he was sexually abused by his stepmom, whatever, and he comes from a rich family and he runs a company, something like that. And there's this
Who
girl.
cares
I
about the
I
books,
you
right? I
know
want to know what's inside the film. Was there a
I
frontal
know
nudity, or
no. See,
was it
CJ
really
never
that?
planned to. See, he's a guy,
All
so
right,
we're
okay.
we're on the same boat. We're all on the same boat. Like
It's
it
okay.
just
All
does
right.
not appeal
Basic
to
Instinct.
men.
There was just like lots of frontal nudity and Sliver
She
too.
crossed
I
her
mean,
legs. Yeah,
Sharon Stone was wild, man. She was like wild as shit. She was like she was a real. She was the true sex symbol of the '90s,
yeah. She didn't
and
care. Like she
a
didn't
lot of
care.
people or a lot of men went in theaters to watch it because that was just like yeah, she was just like the bomb, man. But I don't know about this 50 Shades of Grey business.
That's
I
Don
don't know if
Johnson's daughter,
who
Dakota. That's
Dakota Johnson.
Yeah, that's Don Johnson's daughter. Don Johnson and
But can you consider her
Melanie
as a
Griffith.
sex symbol?
And
Like, well,
she's
can you consider her a sex symbol?
she's hot. She's hot in a non Baywatch way. She's hot in like an office girl kind of way. Like
Right. See.
but knowing that she did that movie, and I'm pretty sure there's nudity there. You can probably just Google her nude scenes, and it'll all be there. You don't have to watch the movie. But the reason why I'm saying this, it's not necessarily because like women like it, I don't like it. I think a lot of movies that women dig, like you said, it's a fantasy, right? So it's kind of like their way of getting back at us. Because like if you watch this movie, right, and you're watching it, and this guy's a billionaire, whatever, and you're sitting there and you're like this 9 to 5 regular employee kind of guy, obviously it emasculates you a little bit. If your partner, your girlfriend, your wife, whatever, is like oogling over him and lusting and drooling over him, you're all of a sudden thinking, you start to feel small if you're that insecure type of person. You'd be like, oh my God, like, God, I'm nothing like this guy. Why am I sitting here watching this? This does not put me in a good light. Now, if this is like Bentong and it's a comedy or something, then you feel good about yourself because at least you're better looking than the actor. But in this case, you have nothing to level with the actor. So you start feeling insecure. So I think a lot of guys don't dig that. Like they don't want to sit there and watch a movie
Yeah.
where
You
they,
gotta have
they,
you
they,
gotta have enough
they
confidence
yeah,
to
you gotta have enough
to
confidence.
overcome
Like
that
you
that
step
issue.
out of the
Yeah.
theater and you don't know what your wife's thinking. But see, men have been doing that to women for so long. Like for example, if you watch Baywatch, all these like perfect bodied women, if we all the porn that we watch, all these magazines that we read, and they find out that we're watching the TikTok dancers and all that stuff, they'd be like, because they all know that it's the body. That's why a lot of women now, they're very conscious about that. A lot of women go to gyms, a lot of women diet, a lot of women,
Right.
because they feel like that's really the main thing for us men. Have you seen Captain Marvel, Ice?
Nope.
See? Why? Because it's a woman superhero.
No, no. I love Wonder
No,
Woman.
no, I'm just kidding. I
But
know,
the
I know,
reason
I know, I
why,
know.
but the thing is like with um Captain Marvel is that I think what put me off was that there was this YouTube video about her being like um too much of a like a Me Too person. You know what I'm saying? Like even with with her co-host, she's been too overly aggressive when it comes to like like the simple stuff that
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like, oh, I don't want to be whatever, like the next star, like, or Tom Cruise, like, no, I'm me, blah blah. I mean, and I don't know who said it. Was it like Thor who said it about like doing your own stunts and whatnot? And she was just like, oh, come on, man. I mean, it wasn't even meant to be like to put her down or whatever. So, but
Yeah, yeah.
basically, it's just like I hate people who. So like I watch films because of the actors. I'm
Yeah.
that type of
Yeah.
person. Like
Yeah.
I'm like if it's a Bruce Willis film, like I know, I mean he sucks now, but I love all Bruce Willis films back in the day. But now he's making
Yeah.
B movies and like all these shit. But
Well,
I love Bruce Willis,
he's
right?
still good. Bruce Willis is still good. He's nothing
Yeah,
like
I know.
Nicolas
So I'm an
Cage.
actor
Nicolas Cage
person.
is terrible. Nicolas Cage now is really bad. His career has really got like he's the B movie guy. I
But
think
yeah, but
Bruce Willis still makes good movies. I think he's still a cool
all right.
actor. I mean, I saw him in Red. He's still good in Red. Red is still a quality film.
Dude, Red was like more
Um,
than 10 years ago. Have you seen his
no, no,
latest
there was
films?
Red too. Red too. That's probably still like 5 years ago. I don't.
Hang on, Red
And what's
2?
that other one?
Was there a
No,
Red
what's that other
2?
one? What's the other
There
one
wasn't
with
a
like
Red 2?
the M Night Shyamalan? Yeah, there's Red too. The M Night Shyamalan one. What was the
Like
M
The
Night
Sixth
Shyamalan one?
Sense?
No, no,
Sixth
no.
Sense?
The one with the guy from Wanted. Yeah, the multiple identity. Split. The movie Split. Was it Split?
I've seen Split. I've seen Split. Was he
Yeah.
in there?
Okay. Was it Split where he made an appearance at the end of the movie, like him and Samuel Jackson? Was that Split, or there's this movie
Yeah, I've
where
seen
like
Split, but
there's a movie where like at the end, like the end part, they were all there. The guy from Split, Samuel Jackson, who was Mr. Glass or something, and what's his name? Bruce Willis. Like it's like a continuation of Unbreakable. But I don't know if that was Split. I just saw the scene in on YouTube. I didn't see
Split
the
is
movie.
James
So
McAvoy, right?
yes, James McAvoy. James
Right.
McAvoy, Bruce
So
Willis, and
I've
Samuel
seen that.
Jackson.
I've seen that movie. I actually enjoyed it. That was like pretty. That was pretty
It,
scary.
um,
But
it,
yeah, it was
it's a
it was
scene.
mind
I
fuck,
don't know
man.
if
But
the
yeah,
movie's out or it's like a
Split.
continuation of Unbreakable,
Is
the
it?
movie Unbreakable.
Well, I've not seen Unbreakable. What
Oh,
was the
oh,
story there?
CJ says it's Unbreakable, Split, then Glass. Okay, Glass. Then the title of that movie is Glass. Now, CJ, was that movie shown already or
Right,
it's
not
coming
Split.
out? Because I saw a scene there where all
All
three of
right,
them were
so
together. Like,
Unbroken. Okay, Unbreakable, Split, then Glass. So it was
yeah.
Unbreakable,
But the movie
Split,
I'm talking about
then
is
Glass.
Glass.
Okay, Glass in the end showed all the cast from Split and Unbreakable. Is that what
Yes,
you're saying?
yes, yes,
All right,
yes,
okay,
yes. Oh, it's
sounds
shown already.
interesting.
I didn't know. Like, I didn't even know
All
that
right,
Glass was a movie that was shown
I've
already.
not seen Glass. I've
'Cause,
seen Split. I've not seen Unbreakable. What was the story? I know it was about a train accident.
oh, Unbreakable's good.
And
That's Bruce Willis. That's Bruce Willis.
oh
That's
yeah,
good. That's good. That's also M Night. It's good, man.
I
You
mean,
what? Unbreakable's good. You'd like it. I think you'd like it. It always has a
all
twist,
right.
and it's
Yeah,
mainly
I know. I hate the
it's a Bruce
twist.
Willis
I
movie.
always hate the twist.
No, because Sixth Sense, Bruce Willis was there, but the main story was about the kid. Well, the main story was
Mark
kind of about him too.
Adrian, look who's here! Look who's here! Mark, Mark,
Bruno Mark, he's back. Bruno,
Bruno,
no,
dude,
yeah,
dude, I missed you.
Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes is back. That's
Wesley
two. That's two or
Snipes.
three.
Wesley
And Joe
Snipes.
Boy, what's up? And then he leaves.
Yeah, and he's gone. He's gonna go on and I don't know, find a spot and jerk off. That's what he's gonna do.
What's up, Ben? He's gone.
No, we're
Joe
kidding.
Boy,
We're
we're
kidding,
talking
Joe Boy.
about pros and cons of being an adult. Come on, you're all adults except CJ. Well, CJ is, like I said, on the
Right.
cusp of being an adult. Mark, Joe
Okay,
Boy, who else is on board?
Patrick
Was it Paul?
is with us.
Patrick. Okay, Patrick. Gab, let us know. What are the
All
pros
right.
and cons of being an adult? You're all
All right.
adults. You've
Okay.
all gone through what? Okay, let's read this.
Okay, let's read Patrick's message. Captain Marvel was okay, but of course the movie was a prelude to the Avengers Endgame. The downside for me was they hype up Captain Marvel's character to the point that she might be the key to defeating Thanos. But she only punched him once or twice in the movie. It's true.
Okay. I
Yeah.
didn't see that movie.
So, no,
But it's not because uh, it's not because it's
I
an
don't even want
empowered
to.
woman. I watched Wonder Woman and I loved it. I loved Wonder Woman. I mean, I like I don't mind it. Women are empowered. I like Melanie
Yeah,
Griffith's Working Girl. Have you seen that? Melanie
right.
Griffith, uh,
I have, but I don't remember
80s
because that was
movie.
like a long time
That
ago.
was a
Yeah,
good
it's an 80s
movie.
movie, right?
That's a good movie. That's a good movie. I like Pretty Woman. That's kind of like a. Anyways, so we're talking about adulthood. Ice. What about being an adult? Are we talking about the pros or the con? You can throw whatever. We
Yeah,
mentioned some
we're talking
some
about
pros already.
pros and cons of being an adult, and yeah, anything that comes into mind. Like, what are the pros and cons of being an adult?
Um, I
Like,
think
well,
one of the cons of being an adult is the accountability of your actions. I know when you're a kid, you're supposed to also maybe consider that, but when you're a kid, you have like second or third chances to correct your mistake. When you're an adult, you don't have that anymore. You don't have that comforting feeling of your mom always watching your back, or your dad cleaning after your mess, or your lola was if you screw up, it's hard. It gets harder to get people to sympathize with you. People will just say, matanda ka na, you know what you're doing. You have to be accountable for your actions, and you have to face the music and deal with it. And I think as an adult, that's one of our fears, that we might end up doing. So like when you're a kid, like even the law itself protects children. Like if you're a minor and you commit a crime, and then you get sent to social welfare, and you don't really go to jail and tried as an adult. But when you're an adult, that's not the case. Like I said, you're also exposed to things that might lead you to trouble. Like for example, when you're a kid, you don't really go to bars and drink. But when you're an adult,
right,
you can go to a bar, get drunk, drive home, hit somebody, and be tried for vehicular homicide or whatever.
right.
So, right?
Mhm.
So there, those
The
things are, I think, are
accountability. Yeah,
the
that's
accountability.
actually, yeah.
You get somebody pregnant, like when you're young. I'm not saying get somebody pregnant when you're young, but usually if it's like a teenage pregnancy or something, like the parents are there to kind of take care of the kid. The grandparents are there to help out, raise the kid, and chip in for the milk and diapers. Sometimes parents even pay for the wedding if the kid if the couple's very young, and there are cases like that. But when you're an adult and you get somebody pregnant or whatever, you have to plan things out, and that's why. And the pressure too. I think there's a lot of pressure being an adult to be successful, to be like what's his name said, where you have to. He has friends who have it all figured out. Because when you're a kid, your biggest problem is, like my son's biggest problem is getting enough Robux for Roblox so he can buy the
I know,
items he wants
right?
online. That's what
So
stresses him out.
maybe right now, your son is thinking that, oh, I wish I could just grow up now and become an adult so that I can get all
And
the
buy
Robux in the
yeah.
world.
And he
Yeah,
becomes an
right?
adult and
Because
doesn't play Roblox
right,
anymore.
because you'd be telling yourself when you're a kid that, oh, I have a lot of choice, like I have a lot of choices, right? So this is really
Yeah.
funny because Joe Boy's saying like, wala na yung choice pag adults na. Yeah, but when you're a kid, you tell yourself like, oh, I want to grow up fast, I want to be an adult because I'll have a lot of choices
It's still
and
a
I can
choice.
pick
Yeah,
any
yeah.
choice. I can make all
Yeah.
the decisions that I want. I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
do
yeah.
whatever I want. But
Yeah.
then when you actually grow old and you become an adult, dude, you find yourself like, oh my god, I don't really have much of a choice. I don't really have much of a say in these things anymore. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, well,
Yeah.
you're already in it. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're already
you
in it.
can't go
Yeah.
anywhere, right? You just can't like abandon
Yeah.
things. You just can't abandon ship. I mean,
Yeah.
you have to pull through because
Yeah.
everybody's expecting that you should,
Yeah.
right? So
That's
it's
true.
yeah,
That's
it's
true.
just
When you're a
funny.
kid, you can still dream of greatness. Like when you're a kid, you can still dream of greatness. You don't have that depressing feeling of like, okay, I didn't achieve what I wanted. But when you're an adult, you could be at a state in your life where you're comparing yourself to others, and see that's what happens when you attend a reunion. Like you see some of your classmates become more successful than when they were younger. You
Right.
see some who didn't go anywhere. Okay, so Patrick says,
Another interesting
yeah, this
point.
was
Another interesting point.
yeah. Gab brought this up. Gab brought this up. Something like this. The previous episode, but read it, Ice.
All right, the irony is that kids wants to become adults, but adults wants to go back to being kids, and that is so true. Because there are times that I would just like be in the tub, taking a bath, enjoying my bath, and I would just think about of wow, how nice would it be if I go back to a certain time in my life when I wasn't really an adult yet, you know?
Yeah,
A lot of stages in my life that I wanted to go back to and just enjoy the
yeah,
things that I thought that, were so um, mundane. But now I look back at it, I'm like, yeah, they seem mundane, but I mean, I really had a lot of fun doing those things. And now
yeah,
no matter how hard I try, I couldn't go back and do all those things anymore,
yeah.
right? The only
That's
thing that
true.
you have
That's
are your
true.
memories and fantasizing about what it's like to have a time machine and go back to those times, which is
That's
really
true.
crazy.
That's true. That's true. And sometimes we find excuses or we find reasons to like to try to satisfy that hunger for being a child again. Like I'm a sucker for nostalgia, man. That's why I love YouTube because I can watch toy commercials, toy reviews, anything about my childhood, and it's pretty much there. And like just today, I ran some errands and then I went to SM to supposedly buy some presents for inanaks and nephews and what. And when I went there, a lot of people in the mall, and I went there, and I remember a friend. My friend on Facebook, Harold. Shout out to Harold Soriaga. He's a man. He's super talented. I don't know if you know him, but super talented sculptor. He sculpts like superheroes and stuff. Super talented. And he posted a picture of him buying Cringer or Battle Cat from the Masters of the Universe, He
Right.
Man. And he posted it, and then I said, "Oh, where did you buy that?" Because I've always wanted. I had He Man, I had Skeletor, I had all those guys. I never had Battle Cat, and it's so awesome to put the He Man figure on Battle Cat. For those that don't know, this was an '80s cartoon, He Man and the Masters of the Universe. It's on Netflix, but that's not the same. And Harold said it's at SM Lanang, but they're running out. So I was there at SM this afternoon, and I went to SM, and they have Panther, which was the Battle Cat version of Skeletor. So I didn't buy it, but I didn't have Battle Cat anymore. But see, it's there. It's like you already have the money and you can buy it. Like back then, I had to ask my dad, who was abroad, "Pa, can you buy me this? Can you buy me that?" And I hope he would be able to buy it. So when I see him, he'd give it to me. But you have no control of when you can get the item or when you can get the toy. Like you'd wait for Christmas, you'd wait for your ninong to buy it, or hopefully it's available. Now I'm an adult and I could buy it, I could afford it, I can order it online or whatever. And I tried doing that. Like I tried to satisfy that, but I still want that Battle Cat. I did that before. I ordered some action figures from of characters from way back, and then when they arrived, as much as I thought I was gonna be as excited as a kid and like, oh my god, this is my dream toy. I wanted this so much. When you actually get it, you want to display it and look at it, and still try to go back and imagine when you were a kid. Like you cannot enjoy it nowhere near to like the enjoyment you would have as when you were a kid,
Mhm. True.
actually
I
playing
agree.
with the toy. Even if you buy it and try to satisfy yourself, like, because we can afford it now. I mean, back in the day, you buy you that or give you that as a present. And now that you have it and you can afford it, it's just it's nice to look at. It gives you that warm fuzzy feeling, but you can't like enjoy it as much as you did back in the day because you the magic is gone. You've
Yes.
been
Yes.
right. You've been polluted by
That is so
stress,
true.
by responsibilities. The innocence is gone. Your imagination isn't as amazing
Yeah, I
anymore.
think time does that to you. Time and
Yeah, yeah,
experience and life. Yeah,
yeah,
life does
yeah.
that to you.
Life does that to
Joe
you.
Boy
It
saying,
sucks out
"Damn,
the
I'm
fun.
daydreaming of yesterday now." Yeah, I mean, who doesn't? We're all
Yeah,
daydreaming of yesterday. Like that's what
yeah,
I
yeah,
do every time I'm in the back. I
yeah.
would pick a song that would take me back to to a stage in my life where I'm like, oh, okay, this song was popular when I was like at this age. I'm like, oh, it brings me back, and you just like think about
Name
all
name
those
one
nice
point in your
things.
life, Ice, where when like you're there in Japan, right? Name like I know you have many, but one memory or one stage in your life where it just gives you that fuzzy feeling. You get excited about it, and you think about it like it
Dude,
like,
it's different. It's not just one memory. It's not just one,
but like
like
just a
one
sample,
particular
like
stage in my
one
life.
example
Okay.
of a
Now I'm obsessing about my time in Power 93. My first DJ, like gig.
DJ stint. Yeah,
My,
yeah,
my
yeah.
yeah. So I'm obsessing about it like just recently because I've been like listening to the songs that were so popular around that time. This was around
Yeah, yeah.
97. Right. So 97 and before that, around 95, 96, 97. Those were the times that, like these songs were that we play at the radio station. So
So which songs were
um,
these? Like
yeah, well now
what?
well yeah, like Good Morning Sunshine, For Real, some For All of My Life, then Gary Barlow's So Help Me Girl, Truly Madly
Okay, yes,
Deeply,
yes,
that's
yes,
Savage
yes.
Garden. What
Savage Garden,
else?
the chorus, right?
The
Were the
course,
chorus
yeah,
around
Runaway,
'97?
98 Degrees,
What about All
and
Saints? Was that 2000s? Were All
All
Saints
Saints, yes,
2000s
I Know Where
already?
It's At. No, it was
All Saints was
97. I
was
Know Where It's
90s?
At. Yeah.
Oh, okay, all
So
right,
we were
okay. All
playing
Saints.
that and Never
Yeah.
Ever. So these are the songs. But I
West Side
particularly
by
would
TQ. That was 2000s, right?
West Side by TQ. But more it's more about how I got the gig and the people that I work with, right? Now I'm always in constant communication with you. I haven't seen Joe in a while. I haven't, like with the other guys and whatnot, but I'm in constant communication with you, and that keeps the Killer Bee spirit alive. But with these
Yeah.
people from 93.1,
Yeah.
it's been so many years. I see them on my Facebook. Wanda, April, Butch was a part of my life there, and I was just
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
I was just telling my wife about it that, oh, you know what, every payday everybody would be there, and like Jerry B who's in the States right now, and Nathan Joe. We'd all be there and we'd just like start cranking up. And I was in second year college, and those were like, and Jerry B was like what, in his mid 20s or something, and he was
Yeah,
working for a
yeah.
bank. He was a bank guy, but he does his board work at 6 p.m. at night. So he does it like 6 to 8 p.m. and he's doing power jam. And every payday we'd all be there and we'd be like cracking up. It'd just be, like Butch is there. Sometimes, when we got really close, because Butch was like this moody person, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
you noticed
And
that, right? So we would tease.
Butch has deadpan humor. Like you don't know what mood she's in. Like she'll speak to you like
Exactly.
there's no yeah, like there's no
Right,
emotion. You know what
right,
I'm
right,
saying?
right,
Like
right, right. Yeah, yeah,
she's
yeah.
good at that. She's good at
Yes,
that. You
yes,
don't know if she's
yes.
being sarcastic or she's not in the
Yeah,
mood.
exactly,
It's like
exactly.
yeah,
So
but I
these
get along with Butch.
personalities,
Like I totally
right?
get Butch. I get along with her.
These were like, oh man. So every time I play these songs, I would be in the tub and I'd be like, oh man, like those guys, like Nathan Joe. Like I remember walking with him from Ateneo because we were both from Ateneo and we were, like batchmates. So we would walk from Ateneo to Power 93, which is in Claveria. And I
Yeah,
would recall our conversations, our Sam Noodles days, because I would go with him if he's doing graveyard shift, and we would go home together.
yeah,
I mean, oh
yeah.
my god, that was a long time ago. Whatever
It's
happened to these
crazy, right?
guys,
And
right?
and
So
when you think about it, you weren't really that young back then. You were not like a kid.
No,
You know what I'm saying? Like you
no, no.
were
I
on the
was I
cusp
was
of
around
adulthood too.
18 at that
Maybe.
time. I was already an adult,
Yeah.
but for me, it's still like it's still young. It's still
You're
young,
gonna tape it again.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, my son's funny because he just came downstairs and they have this exchange gift at school and they got their presents
Right.
already. So I delivered the present at school and I picked up his, and his manita's gonna get hers when she goes to school, and they're supposed to open it together for their grand Christmas party, which is online,
Right.
like a virtual Christmas party. And he said he just wants to know what his gift is, so he's opening it now, but he's not gonna open the pack yet. Okay, here's what he got. Oh, that's cool. So he knows his gift already. Speaking of nostalgia, man, I would love to open this. I want this. Can you imagine Ice? If we
Doomsday.
had this back in the
Superman
day, we
Doomsday.
would be
I
like,
know, right?
we would be showing it off to our neighbors, going, "Yeah, we got Superman Doomsday." Like people would be like, that toy would be passed around in school, in the back of the classroom. They would be passed around with all the guys, and even as a gun. But don't open that. You open that Christmas party. So yeah, I get you, Ice. I get you. Like your memory of that time, during that time, I was probably with Jepoy, and Jepoy, I don't know if he's tuned in. Man, I have a lot of memories with that guy. That guy introduced me to all the kabuang in Davao. He's the guy who introduced me to all the crazy stuff. He smokes, he did drugs, he had different girls. He gambled. He was a billiards guy. He was a tambay. He was a member of all the gangs. He was friends with members of all the gangs. Totally like me, where I was like, I wouldn't say I was sheltered, but I wasn't
He's also the
exposed to that.
saint. He's also the saint.
He's
He has
this
so many identities. He's a lawyer
he,
too.
he's a tikal, yeah. He's a businessman. He's a what's his name? Peter Lim, something. I mean, see, that's the thing. Like he introduced me to so many things. Hanging out with Jet Boy, like I don't know if I should thank him or I should just be glad that I survived that stage in my life without going to jail or doing anything stupid or rehab or what. Because he just showed me that side. I mean, the Bakaka boys, they're cholokoys too, but the Bakaka boys knew my family, knew where I live, we were neighbors, so they're concerned about me. They had this genuine concern about me and not worrying my lola and not getting me in trouble. Jepoy, on the other hand, that guy didn't care. And he took me everywhere, and I met people that I shouldn't have met. I've been to places that I shouldn't have gone to. Like I said, I went to Stag and just like sat there, and he was playing high-low. I mean, come on, like I was like, what, first year college when this happened? So it was. I would not have experienced that with other people, but I went through that stage, and when you relive it like you did, it to other people it's nothing. But for me, it was like, holy crap! Like I really, literally was walking around Davao at 3 a.m. looking for something to do with Jepoy, and this was during the '90s where nobody was walking around Davao at 3 a.m. You know, like you know what I'm saying? Like you
Right.
get picked
Right.
up or get in trouble or something. But Jepoy lived in Anda Street across Cusina Dabao, so everybody knew him. We were
Oh,
passed by Mad
really?
Max.
On
We
the
would
street.
pass by Mad
Holy
Max.
crap!
His house was in front of Apollo, dude. If you remember Apollo, the Hubo Hubo,
Yes, I
he
do
lived
remember
there.
Apollo.
They
That's
have
why
an
you're always at the
optical.
Polo and Stag.
I know. He'd get
He
me
still
in for
lives, he
free.
still lives there.
We
All right.
we
Okay.
would go into
Yeah,
Acropolis for
all the
free. We could
guys.
go into Acropolis
Notice
for
all the
free. It's
guys who
crazy.
work there and probably like the community. Yeah, he's one of them.
He's
Basically.
Yeah, basically he's like one of them. Yeah, he knows all the guys. He knows all the scalpers at Acropolis, like those guys that sell the tickets that meet you outside
Right.
Acropolis when there's an event and sell it to you for
Mhm.
like a hundred whatever. He knows everybody. He knows how to get into spams for free. He hooked me up with. I wasn't a DJ yet, but I was. I didn't. I was. I was. I did not have that privilege like we did when we were Killer
Yeah.
B.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So he opened me up to a lot of stuff. So I don't know if I should thank him, but of course, just the memories of having seen those things and experienced that and firsthand and not being stupid, like knowing what Canto Boy life is because of Jet Boy. I have
Mhm.
to thank him for that because that was crazy, man. And we're both. I'm glad that you survived it. I'm glad that I survived it. And I think with CJ, that's what I always tell him because you know he's on the cusp of adulthood. I think I told CJ this already. I said, you know, have as much fun as you can during your teenage years, but just make sure you don't do anything that you will regret once you become an adult. You know, like like I don't know, maybe I mean, I don't want to make it a mistake to get somebody pregnant, because every child is a blessing. But, like if you just get somebody pregnant, and you don't really love her and you separate and the kid suffers growing up, whatever, that's something that you probably could have avoided if you knew better. If somebody told you or warned you about it.
Mhm.
Maybe like getting STD, like there are STDs that have no cure, like herpes or I don't
Mhm.
know, like syphilis or whatever. And I mean, those things you can get those when you're young. When you're as old as Ice and myself, like Ice, he knows how to take precaution. Or do you, Ice?
No, I do,
I
I
mean,
do. Like, I haven't got
oh
I
yeah, he
haven't
does.
gotten any.
See?
Yeah, I haven't
Yeah.
gotten anybody pregnant, so yeah, I know I know what I'm doing
And he's
for
never
sure.
gotten STD, right?
Yes, yes. Thank
And then
God,
and then he's
thank
gonna
God
and
for
then he's
that.
gonna go outside. And then he's gonna go outside and scratch his balls.
Pisti! I don't need to go
Subukan
outside.
ko
I'll
na
just do
'to,
it
eh.
here. I'll just do
Ninumduman
it
ni
here.
muna ako.
Holy crap!
I,
Oh my
and,
God! Oh
and
my God!
I mean, those things you experience those things, and you are most at risk to those things when you are at that age.
Mhm.
You could. I remember when I would bring out the gun of my grandfather because I would have a fight with a neighborhood kid, and he
What?
was bullying. Yes, and my dad had an air gun, and I was looking for his pistol, and I was like, what, Raj's age? I mean, imagine if I found my grandfather's pistol and accidentally shot a kid. My life would be changed right now. My life would
Oh
be.
my!
I wouldn't be here. I don't know what I
Holy
would have been. I'd
crap!
be in jail. Obviously, whatever.
Thank
I
God I
would have
have
been
not met
traumatized. But
that Rod. That
no, no,
Rod
no.
would
I
make
mean,
people line up outside the
no, no.
house
I
and would
wasn't
get a
gonna
gun.
shoot the guy. I just wanted to scare him. But it was a real gun, and when you're a kid, like you
You
think you can
spoiled
scare
brat,
people.
you!
I
You try
mean,
to scare
this,
people.
and I remember the guy's name too. His name's Siring. He's still around. He's still a bully. But
All right,
but
okay.
the thing is you're so exposed to stuff like that that when you get to be our age and you look back and you go, God, thank God
That
I
was
didn't get
stupid.
caught
Yeah,
doing. All
true,
right.
true,
Thank God I didn't get caught
true.
doing drugs. Thank God I didn't get caught stealing this, shoplifting. Thank God I didn't get
Mhm.
caught, bringing a weapon with me or a gun to school. Thank God, because those things, you know, those are close calls. Thank God I didn't hit that person crossing the street while I was driving drunk. And when do you do those stupid things? When you're at the cusp of adulthood, when you think you're cool enough to do adult stuff,
No,
and
I think
yet
I
you're
think
still stupid,
I think it's more of like we
right?
didn't have that much information back then. We didn't really know
That too.
what would be the repercussions of our actions. But now I think the kids
That too.
are well informed. They're I mean, there's just so many approaches now on how to deal with these things. So I'm just glad that
Yeah.
we are at this point in our lives where our kids can
Yeah.
probably have all the access of information that they need so that they can
Yeah.
grow up um, as well informed as as they should be, and not as ill
Yeah.
informed as we were, because we did a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
stupid things because we were not
We
that
did. We
informed. We were
did.
just we were just we would just hear our parents scare us to death, and we would think like, oh, they're
Yeah.
just scaring us. They're probably just scaring us. It's probably not true. But now there's a lot of avenues where you can see it on the internet, on YouTube, or
That's
in
true.
school, and more and more people are telling you uh, what are the things that are okay and the things that are not okay, which I think
That's
is
true.
really
That's true.
it's really good, I think, for
And you
for the
learn
most
from
part.
people's mistakes. Like
Right.
I'm pretty sure, like like you learn from people's mistakes now. You can see it on Facebook. You can watch Facebook videos. You see these buy bust operations of drugs. You see these raids in like porn sites, or these women who like have video sex or chat sex, and you see these, like, there so many things, and you learn from people's mistakes. Like you see somebody on the road rage, and they fight on the streets because of a traffic situation, and you see these things, and I'm just hoping that the people who watch these videos, that they learn from it, from other people's mistakes, and maybe they come close to a point where they almost got in a road rage situation, but they saw a video on Facebook and they said to themselves, oh crap, I don't want to be that guy, and they backed out. Because back in the day we didn't have that. Like if we were pissed off, we were pissed off. If we were if we did stuff because we didn't know the consequences of it. But when you watch like a CCTV coverage or a CCTV video of a drunk driver who hit a tricycle and everybody got killed,
Mhm.
like all of a sudden you'll think twice about driving drunk. All of a sudden you'll be
Right.
like, oh man, this
Right.
is real. Because back then, if nobody close to us got in trouble or got killed or whatever, we couldn't, it wasn't relatable to us. But now if you watch it on video and these are real things, you're afraid. You start thinking about that stuff. And I think for the
Mm.
kids out there, just like that's what I always say, have as much fun as you can, but make sure that when you look back when you're 30 or 35 or something, that there's nothing there that altered the course of your life in a negative way,
True.
because you can still have fun without having to totally alter your life, especially if you have a bright future ahead, you know.
Mhm. That's right.
Mark says regarding the toys, trying to relive our youth, but it doesn't work when you're an
Ta-
adult, and that's one of the
yeah, he's
cons.
talking about like a Tamiya. I've never had a Tamiya, so I wouldn't really know. What's the excitement of having a Tamiya? But yeah, he's talking about
Oh,
he bought a Tamiya 3 years ago. Not the same excitement and satisfaction with my oldly before, even though it's supposed to be the real deal, not a ripoff. Right? Yeah, I know, right, Mark? That is so true. It's the same with the Rod's toys now. He doesn't have as much fun as like as he had fun with
look
this
what I did,
with his
Mark.
original
Look,
toys. When you or wow,
see.
see there you go, there you go.
To me, I convinced my son to buy, but actually I was the one who wanted it. See? So
Yeah.
we were in Manila and they had like this place in Glorieta with a big track. And my son's like, I said, I brought my son in and I said, that's really cool, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, oh, what
It
is
is
that? What's that?
actually it is actually a project here in Japan. Like kids build Tamiyas. They build cars
Yeah.
like that,
So
like those toy cars. It's
which
like
one's
part of
yours here,
their
Rods?
it's
These
part
are
of their
both yours,
class.
right? Okay, the black one's mine, then this one's my son's, and we built it there. Obviously we don't have a track here in Davao, so we can't race it, but in Manila we did, and like I said, I'm just glad I have a son or sons, so I can sort of relive my youth through them by letting them experience it. Like I have an excuse to buy stuff and tell my
Okay,
wifey
cool.
about it. But yeah,
Here's a
you're right.
question
It's
for
like at
you,
the end of the
Rod.
day, man. You know.
Here's a question for you. How was the experience in Hubo Hubo, Sir Rod?
Okay. It depends where you're at. Now I know Ice knows this. There are high kind of elite places that you can go to now where the experience is more it's more private. Back in the day it was like you're in a common place and you're watching a stage and everybody's there with you, and most of the time you're like with mga magsasaka, and these guys who they saved up their money to
Oh,
watch
come
naked
on.
women dancing, and
Oh,
you
come on, man. There are no magsasakas there. Like we're in
they're
the
not
city. How
no, 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 but
what they
but they're
all
not.
came down from the
No, no,
mountains
no,
and started watching all
no,
these
they
like
do,
Hubo
man.
Hubo?
They do.
They
They
probably
are.
meant
They're
construction
hardcore guys. They're like,
workers. Probably construction
probably
workers
yes,
or like
because
from the markets.
no, dude, you have to
Oh,
think.
even
Yeah,
Joe
okay, you have
Boy's
to
like
think. The
laughing.
places I went,
Magsasaka, magsasaka. Come
no,
on,
because no,
magsasaka my ass,
no,
man.
because dude, I'm not kidding. Nanlilisik ang mga mata, and they're literally like just ordering one beer to watch it. Because here's the thing. You have to understand, back in the day, I was in college. The
Nanlilisik,
places I went to,
nanlilisik.
dude, the places, it's like people at Vikings. People at Vikings, nanlilisik ang mga mata pag gutom. I mean, it's like, you have to think. The places I went to, Apollo,
What the fuck,
Stag,
bro?
maybe
Saan ka ba
Stag,
napunta,
Star,
bro? Read it first.
Joe Boy, it's not like now where you go to places and you can get a VIP room and they'll perform. Back then, it was literally, and I didn't go to Needle Point. I didn't go to the social places. I didn't go to like I said, I didn't go to the social places. There are places here that were social, the rich Chinese or businessmen or VIPs would go to. That was in college. I went to the places where the cover was like maybe 70 pesos and the
Okay,
beer was like 30.
what's
So
this
100 you get a
what's
bottle.
this place in Anda? There's that place in Anda. What's that? That
There's a
was in
lot of
Needle
places
Point,
in
right?
Anda.
Hang on, like
There's Apollo.
okay, no,
No,
not that one.
Needle Point is in Cabaguio. Needle Point is in Cabaguio. Bunker
Oh, yeah, I know
Hill,
that.
Needle
That's
Point.
like where the DOMs
That's
go, right?
that's social. That's social. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
know, I know.
Hot legs.
Hot
Hot
legs.
legs
Okay, all
is
right.
okay.
Anda, right? Hot legs is
Hot legs
Anda.
is not in Anda. Hot legs is in
That's what is the shell places?
in across. It's across the hotel. It's across Mandaya
All right, okay, then
Hotel.
that's not it. That's one of the social places. But what's this?
No, no, no. Hot
There's
Legs
this
is
one
not
place
really
there.
Hot Legs is not really social, but it was notorious for being raided, and it wasn't around when I was doing my rounds. Hot Legs was out. I
All
was
right,
in
okay.
college already.
I've never.
I'm
Okay,
talking
I've
about like
only been. I've only been to one
Dude, I've been to
place.
El Madrid for crying out loud. Your dad went there. What are you talking about? 20 pesos
Really?
ang beer.
You know
El
what,
Madrid.
man?
Ask Jepoy.
So
He knows. We
that's how far we are from each other. I mean, the
I'm
age difference.
telling you,
Because
I
I
was
remember being a kid. I would go
I
to my
was at El
grandmother's house with
Madrid.
my brother. I was with my brother, getting in, like, inside a jeepney, and the jeepney would
Maybe you
pass by El
started
Madrid,
young.
and me and my brother would, like, actually talk about it. Like, what's in those? I mean, what's in that building? What do you think are happening in that place? And you were
Dude,
actually
El,
there doing
for
stuff,
those that don't know,
doing
all
things.
right? For those that don't know, if don't remember, you probably don't know. El Madrid, if you look at it, it looks like the freaking house of childhood house of Rizal in
I
Rizal in
know, it was like an
Calangga.
old
It
house.
looks
That's
like
why it's
an
called El
old
Madrid.
house. Or
Yes,
is that why it's
yes.
called?
This
Okay,
was,
all right, maybe.
yeah.
And you go upstairs, you go up these like creaky steps made of wood, and you
Oh,
go in
really?
there, and they're like disco
Oh
lights from
shit!
like a discoral that they have like at a basketball court in a province
Right,
somewhere,
right.
and they have
Oh
women
man, the
there
places
wearing
you've
like
been.
thigh high boots, dude, and they do these splits and they go tick tick, and they do like a split tick tick, and and their music
I'm pretty sure at some
is like
point you were concerned that the house is gonna collapse, right? Oh my god, this house is gonna collapse at some
and
point. Were you
and the
really
waiter's like
scared?
right next to you. The waiter's always standing next to you because they know the customers who don't order a lot. Like we look broke. Like we literally and we were like next to guys wearing chinelas or whatever. Like literally, like I said, magsasaka. And we were like sitting there, and the waiter would be like right next to you going, beer pa ka, sir? Beer pa ka, sir? I'm like, I literally just opened my beer because the trick to these places is to go there when it's late. So that because they have one dancer who's hot. The rest of the dancers are fugly, man. The rest of the dancers are just like literally disguised by the colored lights. You just have to go. You have to like sort of squint just so that and just look at the body. Sometimes the body is even cut. I mean, I'm not kidding. I mean, I know it sounds mean. I know it sounds great, but this was the young careless me, and we'd sit there and you wait out for like maybe five dancers, and then the hot one will come out, and she's the main one, and everybody's waiting for her. But
It's
see this, but you have to keep
okay.
drinking
Who,
beer. This,
whoever among you guys lost his respect for Rod, raise your hands.
hey, I wasn't, I wasn't going after respect to begin with. I wouldn't have told this story if I wanted respect. And by the
El
way, if
Madrid,
you wanna,
holy
if
shit! See
if
again,
you
the
wanna be
magsasaka
hands on,
reference,
bring 100 pesos. They'll give you a safeguard and let you
dude.
give
You
her
know
a
what?
bath.
All the
Literally, like
magsasaka will hate.
you know,
Will be hating on you right now. Because I mean, come
dude.
on, man.
Okay,
Probably.
okay. Okay, full disclosure. Full disclosure, all right? One time at Stag, I was there, I think with Jetboy, because Jetboy's the one who brings me there. And we
Did you see?
tabled some
Okay, did
girls,
you
all
see
right?
them bringing
We
rice with
tabled
them?
we tabled some girls, and it was like a common room. It was not a private room. So no hanky panky, just table, and they just poured a drink. And we tabled some girls. I had money, I splurged, and tabled some girls. And they have this mama san, right? Who's like this gay dude
Right.
who like handles the girls. And for some reason, nataipan ako, or maybe he does that to whoever is paying or whatever. Sat next to me, and the first thing that mama san did was look at my arms. He was like literally going like this. I thought na nanyansing. I'm like, oh, what's up na, what's up na, what's up na? It's like start looking at my arms. He goes, "We flawless." And I asked him why. What? And he goes, "Di ka dagan magudiri sir, kana mga kagiron." You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if she was looking at me because she was concerned for the girls or what, but I was like, why would you look at a customer's arm? You know what? And I'm not saying those magsasaka guys are kagiron. I'm just saying, maybe
Can't you
this
like?
mama
Can't you
son.
just call them guys? Can't you just like call them other guys?
No, because I want to paint a picture here. I want you people to get what I'm trying to say. Like they literally, this like redness that guys have when they drink tuba. Those guys look like that. Like they have like this Lito Lapid mustache, and like their face is kind of like red from drinking tuba. You know what I'm
Right.
talking about?
Okay.
It's like tisoy, but like tisoy bisaya. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
I
That's
know.
kind of
I
like
know.
the guys there. Now, if you go to places that are nice, like social
Star
places, like the
dancer.
ones in
That's what you call
Cabaño
them.
or
Star dancer. You were
wherever,
talking about star dancer earlier. All right.
yeah,
Okay.
the star dancers. Yeah, that's the main one. And you know it's the star dancer because they start playing like Bon Jovi or Def Leppard or something. You know, it's like once the music,
Two steps
no,
behind, walk away,
I
split.
wanna lay you
When you
down,
want to
and
split.
and and you and you have to admit to this, all right? You have to admit to this, right? There are times when you're watching Ubu Ubu and the girl will look at you and she'll go like this and she'll go like that to you, and she'll target you,
I beg your pardon, Rod. I've
and you'll be
only
like,
been to one Ubu Ubu. I've only
and you'll
been
be
to
like,
one Ubu Ubu.
me.
That's why I wanted to know what are these places in Anda? Because I've only been to one Ubu Ubu, and this was in
Dude,
Anda. This was
there's
near the
Apple, there's Star, there's Apple, there's Star, there's Apollo, there's Stag, there's Hot Legs, there's
no, no, like no,
Adonis, maybe no, maybe
right
not
by
Adonis.
UR
Fiesta, Davao
97.
Fiesta, Fiesta
No,
sa
no, no,
Davao
not
or
that.
something like
Right by
that.
Cecil's. Right by Cecil's. Like
Anda, that's
there's a place
Anda.
there.
Apollo, that's
That's Anda,
Apollo,
right?
dude.
No,
They're
that
right
was in
next.
Apollo. Like Yoda took me there with Phil.
That's
My
Apollo,
friend
or
Phil.
maybe it's Star. I know there's Star. I know there's
No, it wasn't
Apollo. There's
Star.
Adonis, maybe it was. Is it Kalinya ng Taipan and Kusina Davao?
No,
Suplados.
Suplados. No. It's what are you talking- those were
Is
like the group,
Suplados a
right?
hubo-hubo? Suplados sounds like, is that a hubo-hubo?
No, there was a place there. It sounds like Needlepoint. Like the
Okay,
name sounds like sounds like
maybe
classy,
he
but
bought
it
you.
wasn't.
Maybe he bought you to Salambat or Tahor. Maybe it was like
No, no,
male
no, no,
dancers.
no, 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 no. Hang on. Hey guys,
It's
help me out,
classy.
Patrick.
It's
Well,
social. Social.
the name is classy, but no, it wasn't.
It wasn't Apple. It wasn't Apple.
No, it wasn't Apple.
It wasn't Star.
No, it wasn't Star.
Apollo.
No, it wasn't Apollo.
Because sometimes they change names. Like,
What's the name?
you
What's the
know,
name?
not Stag, not
Not
Stag.
not Stag. No, Stag is right at San Pedro Street.
Stag
No,
is the
not
one that you go
Stag.
down. Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
it's
I
like
know.
an
That's
underground
I
thing.
know where Stag is. No, there was that place.
Okay.
It wasn't Needlepoint. It sounds like Needlepoint, but it wasn't. What was the like? Master Yoda would talk about it a lot, and
Okay.
we went
Because
there, and that was the only place that I've been to.
Ojepoy should
That's
know
Hubo
this if he
Hubo.
was around. Okay, what year
Hey,
was
come on,
this? Because this
Jeff,
might be new. It might be
dude, this
new
was
though.
around
'Cause I mean,
2009 or
oh no,
2010.
I was doing
Remember?
no, dude, 2009. I was already a kilo beef for crying out loud. What are you
I know,
talking
I
about?
know. But, well, what's that place, man? It's right. It's near Cecil's.
I was
It's near
I was going
Cecil's.
to I was going to video keys already during that time.
I know,
Which
I know.
by
There
the
was a video
way,
in front of it, actually.
which
But
by
anyway,
the way, isn't just about singing for some of you, all right?
it me,
Once you get
it me,
older,
no,
you start to
it
level
me.
up.
No, it's not it me.
It may yeah, I know
It's
it
not
may
it me.
it may is in it may is in near the it may is near the it's in Bilabrile, right? It's
No,
in
it
near
means no. What are you talking about? It means
it's
it
not it
me.
me, it's it may.
No,
It's it may. It's it may, not it
dude,
me.
no. Mark, it means it me, baby, one more time.
It may. No. The spelling is it may. It's IT then MA. No, he's not telling you to eat him. He's not saying eat me. It's the name of a place. It's called Itme. It's
It me.
ITMAE. It's Alam Villa Brile.
I've heard of it. I've heard of it. I've heard of it. May.
But I haven't
I
been
don't know
there. I
who,
haven't,
but
I mean,
somebody mentioned it to me.
if I can't pronounce the name, I'm not going.
Alam mo na,
That's my.
Rod,
I have a rule. If I can't pronounce the name, I'm not going.
no, but
Forget it.
right? Begs the question, like, why does he know all these things or all
Yeah,
these
but,
places?
well, okay, just in my defense, hindi po ako
I mean,
yung
the fact that you went to El
simuno.
Madrid, man,
I'm just a
hats off.
follower. I wasn't the leader.
Hats
Somebody
off.
led me to these places. I did not
Hats off.
know.
El
all right?
Madrid.
And
Oh my God. I mean, that was. I think that place is a legend.
there's a
For a
massage
magugot for
parlor,
that.
dude. If you like milfs, like literally, like you search those on videos, like milfs, mature women, whatever. Dude, there's a massage parlor on the ground floor of El Madrid. Literally, all the women are wearing red. They're older than my grandma. For crying out loud, they're all wearing like red lipstick. And you're like studying there. Massage kasi.
That is the Rod. Here it is. The pros and cons of being an adult. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, you get to do stuff, but with ugly women. That's basically it, you know? I mean, anyway. I mean, it was different back then. It was different back then. It was different back then. But it was more, I think, even though it was like that, there was still kind of a sense of there's still a bit of innocence there, because you kind of get familiar with the people that work there. You even get to know the names of the dancers. There was this dancer that everybody went after. And unlike now where, you know, you could go to a place and hook up with a girl and you wouldn't know if she's like from another place, right? So it's scary. That's usually scary. I mean, okay. Okay, I'm not gonna stop talking now because I'm gonna get myself in trouble if my wife's watching this. But this is the stuff I'm telling you. This was all before I met her, so I'm okay. I'm good. I mean, you went there 2009. What the heck's wrong with you, Ice?
No,
We
because
were
I was
already
there with
having
I was
parties
there with
then. We were.
I was
I don't remember
I
going
was I
to
was
any
there.
hubo
I was
hubo like.
there. I was there with some. I was there with a guest. All right, you know I had a guest, and
Yeah, yeah.
Master Yoda kind of like sort of I mean I think it was the guest who wanted to like visit a place like that. So I was like, all right. Then
Mm.
I tapped Master Yoda, and Master Yoda also know his way around these places. So we kind of like, all right, okay, let's go there. But I
Yeah.
cannot remember the name, but it's there. The name is in English. It doesn't sound Hispanic,
Carlisle
but
is
it's
on
in
board.
English.
It's not
All right,
it's not Square Circle.
it's not. No,
Anyway, I think something happened to Ice's. Is it? Am I on or is Ice on and I'm gone? Can somebody tell me what's going on here? Did Ice get cut off or did I get cut off? Carlisle, shout out to you. Okay,
so
Ice is back.
I accidentally pressed the back button because I was like searching for strip clubs in Davao, and
Oh my
like
god.
I'm
You mean
wondering if like
now?
the no,
Okay,
now because
thanks,
I'm like
Gab.
I'm trying to find. I mean, at least if if the name shows up, then some results may be explicit. Yes, I am looking for
Okay,
explicit results.
okay, hold on. Where is this located? You're saying Anda, right? It's not because
Yeah, it's in Anda.
Christopher is not a hubo hubo. It's a video key.
No, it's not. It's in front of Christopher.
Oh, oh no, it can't be. It can't be Kogot, right? Was that
It's
Kogot?
near Kogot. It's
That's
actually just like
that's a
around that
restaurant.
area.
Oh, that's Apple. I think that's
No, that's
Apple.
not Apple. No, it's not. The name would
Star.
like I know if it's not Star. It's not Star.
Okay.
No, no,
Hold on. I know what you're saying.
Patrick, I
I
didn't
know what
get
you're
cut
saying.
off.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. But I
I
never I did
pressed the
not go
back
in there
button.
because that's fairly
I
new.
went
That's like that's like part of the Ginoo compound, right? That
needle.
area?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like needle point. That's why I asked about like needle point. Was it like? Because it sounded
No,
like
no, no. It's not
needle
Needle
point, but it
Point. It's not
wasn't
Needle
needle point.
Point. It's like
Um,
probably like point
Cowboy
something.
Bronco. No.
Yeah, yeah. God, Bronco. Dude, remember Benz? Was
No,
that
there's
Benz?
Bronco. There's Bronco. I remember
Remember
Bronco.
Benz?
There was a Bronco.
Benz? Was that
Benz.
Benz? Along Rizal
Yeah.
Street? Was it Benz? Was
Right.
it?
Right.
It's like Benz, right? Remember, right?
Right.
But Benz was like
Yeah.
a video key though. That wasn't like a hobo hobo really. That was more of a video key. But some kinky stuff can happen. I mean, that's the thing with video keys back then. It was like you could always negotiate. That's the thing. You could always negotiate, especially if you know people who know people, or you're like okay. There's this spot, our favorite spot, and I think a lot of you guys know this, but I'm not gonna mention the name. But when I have a favorite spot, or my friends and I, we have a favorite spot, and this is near Chimes. So that's all I'm saying. It's kind of like, yeah. Yeah, I know. I was thinking that. I was like, Himalaya, Iceman got cut off. I'm like, no way. Guys, usually that's my curse. But Patrick's like, Himalaya. No, he did not get cut off. He actually pressed back because his maniakis mode is like in full effect. So
No, because
anyways.
I'm like, oh man, I wish I could just
He was
message.
freaking out. I was looking for Obo Obo.
Like, okay.
Yes. Yes. Carlisle knows what I'm talking about. Except that one is green. Yeah.
No, that's not it. Like,
yeah. That's
again.
everybody's favorite spot. I mean, I think everybody's a regular there. Yeah, Carlisle knows what I'm talking about. My compare knows what I'm talking about. So anyway,
All right, I'm gonna message Yoda and see if he remembers.
yeah, good good day. Okay, Joba, you're going? Well, or is that the name? Oh yeah. Okay, all right. GD, yeah. Got it. I thought he was like saying good day. He would have said GD. Okay, got it. Yeah, see, everybody's favorite place. It's you can eat there, but most of the time if you go there, you don't really. I don't think I've ever even eaten there except for the pulutan, the fried chicken. But it's yeah, it's everybody knows. See, if you know, you know. That's basically it. And apparently everybody knows. Birds of the same feather flock together. But yeah, I'm a changed man. Not that, not but the pandemic really has put things into perspective. It's made people realize that you don't have to go out to have fun, though. You kind of miss it. It's like a lot of these things, and a lot of these things that happen. And Joe Boy was like, just like Joe Boy was like, I enjoyed myself. Was that what Joe Boy said? Alam mo lahat. Okay, Joe Boy said you enjoyed, my man. I think Joe Boy meant like because of all like the hubo hubo places that I've been to. To be honest, I'm kind of like a picky guy. Like like I like women who are clean and smell good, and you know what I'm saying. So it's not really like fun where I feel like I'm having fun, because I mean, most likely I probably had a girlfriend at the time, and she was probably um uh, a lot prettier and probably cleaner and more wholesome than wherever these girls were working at these establishments. I think it's just like when you get kind of drunk and you get tipsy, and you have these ideas, and it's like a thing that I never went to a hubu place by myself. That's all I'm saying. And I've seen some guys in a hubu place by themselves. And the funny thing, I still in Stag, like if you, I don't know if this applies to all these hubu places. Like if you table like a lady and you get touchy, because it's just not a VIP room. The dance floor, the stage is in the middle, and you're all there, and you get touchy with like maybe you're drunk and you're not aware. If you get touchy with any of the ladies at your table, they have like desk by the entrance, and there's a lady there who like slams a wood. I don't know what it is, but it sounds like a whip or like a wood that you slam on a table. It's kind of like it gets your attention, and it's sort of like their way to kind of like warn the patrons, the customers. It's like hands off the ladies. If you're willing to pay the bar fine and you want to take her out, then you do that. But you don't like do the kinky stuff, while you're in the premises, unless it's a VIP room and you negotiate. That's different. That's what VIP means, I guess. Very immature people, very intense petting. VIP,
Very intense petting.
very intense performance.
We are talking about pros and cons of being an adult here.
Well, that's a pro. That's a pro of being an adult. What do you see now? CJ can't wait. CJ's like, damn it, I want to be an adult now.
Bring back El Madrid.
I want to go to
Bring
El
it
Madrid.
back.
Trust me, CJ, it's overrated. All right, none of these experiences made me proud of my actions. It's just,
Okay, here's the thing,
You-
Joe Boy. Joe Boy's asking me a question. Ice, I'm curious dyan sa Japan, marami din ba dyan? I've
Madami.
heard of things. I mean,
Madami.
probably. I've heard of these places. They have these soap lands that they call. It's not. This is not a strip joint. I'm pretty sure they have strip joints, but this is sort of like massage places where you have like those happy endings and whatnot. It's pretty well. I've never been to one, right?
Happy
And I don't know
ending.
if they're yeah. I mean, I'm not sure if they're like exclusively for just Japanese men, but I've heard places where yeah they wouldn't take in foreigners, so I wouldn't know, but I've heard of these places. Sometimes they're like, they would seem like so innocent, just like like a regular massage, whatever. But it's actually like with happy endings and whatnot. And they actually have agents, or what do you call this? Like a staff, like walking around the city streets, handing out like those small cards and whatever. And they would kind of like tell
When
you
you're
in
with
secret, like, oh hey,
with
you
a
can have this,
Japanese woman,
whatnot.
when you're with the Japanese woman and she's naked, is it pixelated?
What? No, I.
That's what Gap's asking.
I think so. I think it would be like about Ichima. I think it would be like about more or less between let's say 6,000 yen to 10,000 yen. So that would be around like about
5,000
60 to
pesos?
$100. No, that's about like
Oh yeah,
like
about
yeah,
5,000
that's
pesos.
like
If it's
from
100,
60
right?
to yeah, about 5,000 pesos. But I mean, like I will not spend for these things. I told you, like I have the internet. I just like go to the internet and just find my kink there, and I'll be happy about it. Um, yeah. That's why the reason why I've only been to one, like that, because I had a guest and I have, and I was curious to, dude, I think I have issues with these things because I don't know if, like when I was there, with a guest and I saw those women dancing. I know they decided for themselves to do that particular like job, but
Yeah.
it was more of like
You feel
I
bad?
feel like a little, yeah, I feel it's, I don't know what to feel. Like, should I feel bad about them, or should I feel embarrassed about myself?
But you didn't feel bad when you were the boyfriend bonking them 5 times a day.
No, here's the thing. What?
You didn't feel bad when you were the boyfriend and you were bonking them 5 times a day.
No, here's the thing. Here's the thing too.
Abuse naman.
Even with just like the ledge dancers that we see during those night outs that we did with Killer Bee, there are times that I was just like, oh man, I don't know if I should be embarrassed, if I should be embarrassed for for myself for being there and looking at them, or should I, like pity them being there. It's just like that. Like it's more of like it's. I'm like, man,
Yeah.
but
You have
then
the
I
right principle. I know
know
what you
that
mean. You
they
don't.
probably want to be there, and that's fine. If I would talk to them, they'd be like, oh, I like doing this. I like, I like dancing. I like showing off. I like teasing men, and then I'm like, all right, so I'm at peace. I hope they're not there because they're because out of necessity. You know what I'm saying? If they're like,
Yeah.
God, I love dancing. I love my body. I want to show it. I just want to show it off, and I just want to do this. So I would be like, all right, that's good. That's cool because I'll be
Yeah.
rooting for you. But if they're being, sort of being pushed there, and it's because out of necessity that they're doing it. It's kind of like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It's like I would feel bad about it. So I
I've
think that's my
spoken to
personal
some of
issue.
them. I mean, I haven't spoken to them like heart to heart or anything, and I've seen some
But okay, let me get
documentaries
you
on
there. Let
Netflix
me get you
or
there. Yes, you're
go go
right.
go.
That's a basketball shoe already.
Ganyan kayo mag-isip.
Yes,
Ganyan kayo mag-isip.
yes, that's a basketball shoe
Basketball
already.
shoe naman
Of
to.
course, you are so right, Patrick. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway, you were
and
saying.
at the end of the day, if you have to pay for intimacy or whatever, you know, I don't really know if because I mean, I have friends who are regulars at that. I have friends who they know that's they don't hold back or they can afford to do it. They actually have relationships or they have suki or whatever the heck you want to call it. I mean, to each her own. As long as you're both adults and wherever your partner is a willing participant, you're not hurting anybody's feelings in the process. Then so be it. But I get what you're saying, guys. Like you're not you appreciate women, you love women. It's not that you don't, but you're not in it for the theatrics of it because when you watch somebody dancing or performing and you're in a crowd of people, there's really nothing intimate about that. It's like if you were with her in a room or something, yeah, that's different. But if you're like sitting there and she's like showing and doing all that crazy stuff, and a lot of people get a kick out of it or get turned on by it. I don't like personally. If you go to like I said, yeah, it's not something I would do on my own. Usually, it's like maybe you're with your friends and you're drunk and you're like, let's go to this place. Let's go. It's sort of like that. It's not something that I go there and I like, literally like sit there and drink my beer and I'm like, looking at her and I'm studying her and I'm totally like obsessed with her or infatuated. Not really. I'm like I said, I'm a picky guy, and usually when you like table a girl or you get her ladies drinks, you're kind of like, you're an easy unless you're a guy who regularly does that. But we like we're girlfriend guys. We're used to having a girlfriend. We're used to having a girl just to ourselves. We're used to usually being with women, don't come from a shady background. And when you're in a place like that, you don't really know what her story is. You don't know how many she's been with that day. You don't know what the story is basically, and you don't want to know. So if you're sober and you go to a place like that, you're very conscious about it. And I think most of the time, if I ever end up in a place that we call hubo, hubo, back in the day when I did it and I was careless and I was silly, I was usually either tipsy or drunk or, my friends were or whatever. It's not something that I like enjoy. And I get Iceman when he says that, like he doesn't know if he should feel bad watching this or he should enjoy himself watching this. Because you see, right? Because we've had parties where there are a lot of drunk guys there, and like some girls would be like dancing on the ledge, and you hear like everybody collectively screaming. What are they screaming?
Right.
Take
Yeah.
it off. Take
Yes.
it
Yes.
off. take it off,
Yes,
right?
yes,
And the
yes,
girl's
yes.
like
So
literally like, on the
yeah,
verge of doing
right,
it.
right, yeah.
Right? So
So
you're
yeah,
like,
so
okay,
yeah, that's my issue right there. I mean, if I hear it from them that like no, I want to do this, it's not out of necessity or whatever. Like yeah, this is my thing. It's my thing, and I would respect that. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Like, yeah, I mean, I would love it. Yeah, take it off if you want. But if it's out of necessity and they're, like people are taking advantage of them, it's kind of sad, and it's a different story. And
it is, it is.
yeah.
I mean,
So right,
I mean, here's the thing. Um, that's the thing. It's like when you say people should be able to do what they want, people should have the freedom to do it when they're adults. When you up to what extent, and you know who draws the line there, and if you're there and you're witnessing it, are you encouraging it? Are you patronizing it? Are
Mhm.
you helping, or are you making it worse? I mean,
That's
they're
true.
earning
That's true.
from your patronage. They're earning. They're able to pay the rent. They're
Right.
able to buy food. But at the same time, you're helping. You're kind of letting them stay in that. You know.
All right.
But do they have an
Cool.
option?
Cool.
That's exactly what you were saying. Like, do they have an option? That's a part of being an
Mhm.
adult. All right. And I
I think
think
so. I
one
think so.
one of the things about being an adult is that when you're young and most of these people who are in situations like that career wise, or that's their life, that's their job, when you're young and you want to be an adult so bad, or you try to do adult things, that's when you get caught in situations like that. You get thrown into a world that you're not ready for. And if you watch like a lot of these documentaries about porn and all this stuff and how they got into that industry, they would always say, "Oh, I, dropped out of high school, or I dropped out of whatever, and a friend of mine tried this, and it started with pictures, and then I started doing exotic whatever, whatever." It's because they're young. They didn't have that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Bro, you can see who. Come on.
Kung makonsensya sa nagubuob. Gab, you nailed it. You nailed it. You
Not
nailed
when
it,
you're
Gab.
drunk,
You
though.
nailed it.
You're kind of heartless when you're. But
I know that's
either
true.
way,
That's true. But yeah,
either
you
way,
you you you're completely right. You
you
get
know,
pushed into a corner because for various reasons, like not finishing school and
finishing school.
being in a vice or
Or they were
something. So
abused when
yeah,
they were young. Yeah, it
yes,
happens.
yes. All
I
right.
mean, I wouldn't judge them. I mean, if I was abused when I was young, I probably wouldn't do it anyway. Like, it depends. People respond to certain experiences in different ways. Some people, when they go through adversity, they become stronger. Some people, when they go through
Right.
adversity, they become paranoid. They become,
Right.
like afraid. And some people become stronger. So which one are you? And some people will say, oh, they're in that industry because they are weak and they were influenced by the wrong people. Or some people will say they took charge of their life and they wanted to take their clothes off in front of people, and so be it.
All right.
So,
Yeah, that's true.
right?
Yeah, I
I
mean
mean,
that's true.
right?
Because
If I wanted to
I've
take
heard
my
of
clothes off and got paid for it,
right.
who's to judge me? Right?
True, true. Because I've seen interviews of porn stars, and they would say these things, but I've also seen some interviews from former porn stars, and they have like that story, like oh, I was forced into it and whatever. So that's kind of sad, right? But then, so yeah,
Hold on.
that's the thing. Like
Hold on. Hold on.
what?
This interview is this interview like a real interview, or is this like an interview that
No,
leads
I
to?
mean it's on
Is this like
YouTube. It's
in
like
a
sort of a
room? There's a
documentary thing.
sofa.
That's a different interview, man. No, this is about like like Asian Boss and stuff like that, like on YouTube, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, I've
you know
seen
Asian
those too.
Boss,
I
right?
watch
Like I
those
think
too.
they had a topic like this at some point, and yeah,
Yeah, I
so
like Asian
it's
Boss.
kind of
I
like
love
sad,
Asian Boss. I
right?
watch that. I watch Asian
Right.
Boss.
So yeah, I mean,
And a lot of them
I
are
mean, if
empowered. A lot of them don't feel
yeah,
weak. You know.
yeah, that's exactly.
Uh,
Like if that's like I respect that. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I mean, I hope everybody's like that, and like who are in that sort of business. But there are people who, like I said, who are like kind of like pushed into a corner, and they were sort of forced into um, doing those things, things that they probably don't really like. And they have to take drugs or whatever substance so that they would have the stomach for it. All right. Oh, okay.
or yeah, yeah,
Can
yeah.
we have like a part two on this? Like, okay, hang on. Like, cause you can't do Saturday. Can you do tomorrow?
Yeah, I guess I can do tomorrow. What time are we
Yeah,
doing it
because
tomorrow?
like, yeah, same time. Because I'm not playing tomorrow, and like, well, actually, it's Snow's birthday, so we have to like, um, like we have to decorate like downstairs so that when she wakes up,
Well,
there's like balloons and shit.
we can do it. We can do it Sunday. I mean, either way,
I think it's better. Like,
we can do
well,
it tomorrow too. I'm fine with
yeah,
tomorrow too.
tomorrow's
But
fine with me.
if
I
it
think
snows,
tomorrow's better.
yeah,
No,
okay,
no, I
all
mean
right.
it's her birthday, but we're not gonna have a party. It's like tonight we need to, because when she wakes up, she wants to see balloons and shit, right? I mean, we don't
Yeah,
do parties here in Japan, so it's just me and my wife tomorrow night, and Chris
got it.
and the
So it's just
grandmother
you
and
just have to
grandfather.
set it
So
up, but
there's
it's not
nothing
like you're
happening.
inviting people
Yeah,
over.
we're
Okay,
setting
got
up
it.
we're
All right.
setting it up tonight so that when she wakes up, it's
Yeah, I'll do it
there.
tomorrow. I
All
mean,
right,
is
so
it
let's
still
do
the
it
same
tomorrow.
topic? Are we talking about
I
adulthood?
think the guys would probably, because I don't think we've
Because I
delved
mean, the
into.
stuff that we were talking about is adult stuff, but we just kind of focused on like the
Yeah,
dark
because
side
there's
or the
still so many
naughty
things to
side of being an
unpack
adult.
here. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
All right.
there's still a lot of things to talk about. So we're gonna talk about this tomorrow, guys. I'm so sorry. I know we're on a roll here and we're like laughing our asses off, but it's my daughter's birthday tomorrow, so we just needed to do some stuff downstairs, and just like when she wakes up, she sees some kind of like glittery whatever, or like some balloons and shit. Like, I don't know like what my wife had for her, but what are
Ooh, who the heck is
our
Sylvia
YouTube?
Hodges?
Yeah, I've been
What the heck?
blocking them. They're like posting on
What
our
what
YouTube,
is what's
like
going on here?
screaming, like
Did we start something?
block, because we were talking about adult stuff. Holy crap!
Really?
They have spice. Oh, I don't know. I
Really?
don't
Like
know, but
they can detect that stuff? I mean,
I have no idea. I have no idea. I
what
have no
the
idea.
heck? Okay, hold on. See, when you said we were talking about adult stuff, I mean, okay, all
Thanks,
right. So
guys.
I
Thanks.
guess, yeah, yeah, yeah. So what would there? Yeah, it's so Snow is how old? She's 7.
She's 7 tomorrow. Yeah.
Wow! Happy birthday, Snow Chan.
All right.
Yo, your
Yeah.
gift.
So yeah, she was saying
Yeah.
like, oh, it's like the things like she's telling us
What are
to
you
like.
getting her? What did you get her a present already, or you're gonna get it, or
No,
you're
we're getting
asking her
her
what
an
she wants?
iPad. So yeah, we're getting
Oh
her
yeah. That's why you
her.
asked. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm getting her the iPad. So, but like she got used to like waking up in the morning, because my wife always like does things for her, like But like me, I'm not big on these things, right? Like I grew up without having presents and stuff, so it's not like a birthday is just like a normal day for me. But my wife's kind of
Yeah.
like making it, like all right, whatever. So I think we're gonna do something for her, like just decorate the like the dining room so that when she wakes up tomorrow, like happy birthday, and that's it. Then we'll have dinner here with the grandfather and grandmother, but that's it. Like we're not doing anything special. It's
Well,
just
that's
like
awesome though that the
spaghetti and chicken.
grandparents are there. I mean, like there's added presence in the house at least on her
I know. At
birthday,
least this
right?
year they will be. Because like the past year, it's just like
Yeah.
we go to a restaurant and we just eat. That's it. That's a birthday. Like because we don't have like sort of like that like bond with the Filipino community here. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like it's just like the three of us for the most part. Yeah, like since she was
Yeah.
born. But
Raj is the same
all
way,
right, so
anyways. Like when he celebrates his birthday, he'd rather like have us buy him something than like have a party. Like you
right,
know.
yeah, that's true. Yeah. So
So,
yeah,
all
so
right.
we're
Happy
just gonna
birthday,
like
Snow. So tomorrow we'll continue with our talk about the pros and cons of being
right.
an adult. I mean, guys, again, take this with a grain of salt. I mean, this is supposed to be, taken lightly. I mean, it's not meant to be offensive or anything. I mean, I'm just
Right.
speaking from experience. If my experiences are, for some people or whatever, I mean, come on, your dad probably did worse things. He just didn't tell you. All right. So um it's from these things that we become better people, and that's how we find out who we
True.
are, when
True.
we overcome those things. And it's part of being an
Right.
adult. You don't become an adult if you don't experience anything, right? Whether it's good or bad,
Exactly.
right?
Experience. That's that's a key
Experience.
word right there. Experience. All right,
PM
we'll
is
see
the
you
key.
tomorrow. We'll continue to talk. And all right, well, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks a lot for joining us. We'll have fun again tomorrow night because Rod's busy on Saturday. So yeah, let's do this
Yeah,
tomorrow
I have
night.
a gig.
And the continuation of pros and cons of being an adult. This has been the LG Show. Thanks for joining us. My name's Iceman.
Rod Rodriguez.
And sorry to cut the show, folks. But yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. We are out. Good night.
Ito, ma.
Oh, ugma bay. Wala may ano diri mag ano lang. Nagluto naman daan si Bating nya mag-decorate lang mi sa ubos ba tabangan lang ako kay basig masuko. Wa ko ni tabang.
Tulog na bata.
Tulog na siya, tulog na siya.
So
Kabalo na gud
di siya
siya unsay
kabalo. Di ko siya ma-surprise
di
yun
siya
siya.
murag
Na,
ano lang
iPad
pa-
ya, nakaandam na. O nahatag na
wala
mo.
pang iPad, wala pa ay ano pa na murag kuhaon na mo dito para mag-feel niya ba. Na kung unsa may gusto ipa-deliver or kuhaon
Okay.
sa Apple Store.
Unsa
Sa
man na
Apple
mo na
Store
ba
lang,
yung
pero
birthday gift?
mo na yung birthday gift ang ano niya.
Christmas, Christmas gift. Sabay na.
Di na sa Christmas murag kung sa kuha hindi namon murag yang lulo gilahi-lahi eh. Nabigyan po siya maano murag
By apila na lang daan og pag kuha niyo yung iPad, apila na lang daan og kuan iTunes card para ma-downloadan ninyo siya maski pila ka buok lang na premium. Discouraging magud sa bata nang mga ads bay. Luoy ba? Pila na lang siya iTunes card.
ano siya na
Download siya
games
games para
Minecraft
premium.
daw siya Minecraft.
Yeah. Pila
Okay
ganing
naman,
how much is Minecraft on iPad na? Right? About $5 or siguro na bay? $7. So,
Wala na siya yung mga ano ba kung palito nimo na wala na siya yung mga ads ana.
wala na. You get the full game. You get the full experience. Plus, you can go online and play against other kids who have the full version. Kaya naman ko yung trial version which is like limited kayo.
Wala ano siya. Sige na siya kung sa Minecraft kung ayaw palit sa mo iPad pag birthday niyo. Okay, para nakay isa ka game.
We'll talk about it tomorrow, ha? Steam na po yung ipangayo. Dili na po doon.
Sige, bye.
Sige, bye. Happy birthday to Snow, ha?
Halagago on pa ta ba?
On pa ta?
Holy shit.
Guys, we're still on. Are you guys still watching us?
Yeah, Gabby's still watching.
English pa mo.
Gab.
Yati.
Saya di mo ko. Sige, bye-bye.